Having trouble understanding freedom and confinement? What about identity? Well, never fear, Kazuo Ishiguro is here to give us his take on both themes.
We totally get that understanding themes in a book like Never Let Me Go can be somewhat daunting.
We had a blast doing this project, so we hope this video helps and that you have fun learning about Never Let Me Go. Here goes nothing.
Are you free and trying to confine yourself, or are you confined and trying to free yourself? In Never Let Me Go, the students confine themselves because they don't know how to handle freedom, and might not even want it. Kathy and her friends face barriers their entire lives, confined within the Hailsham walls, to their roles as donors, to their representation as inhuman. As a result, they don't know how to deal with freedom when they arrive at the cottages without guardians. Kathy says, of course, in practice, especially during the first months, we rarely step beyond the confines of the cottages. Kathy also describes Hailsham's closing as balloons being cut free, as if that freedom were a bad thing. I thought about Hailsham closing, and how it was like someone coming along with a pair of shears and snipping the balloon strings just where they entwined above the man's fist. Once that happened, there'd be no real sense in which those balloons belonged with each other anymore. There are small freedoms within the walls that confine them, but we, will always run up against barriers such as first impressions, expectations, and limitations that we cannot overcome. We define ourselves by what we feel is important in our lives, the things we treasure so much that we feel that who we are would not be the same without them. When she confides in Ruth about her sexuality, finding her possible becomes a priority for understanding who she is, which is clearest in the scene about the porn magazines where she says, "So I thought if I find her picture in one of those magazines, it'll at least explain it. I wouldn't want to go and find her or anything. It would just, kind of explain why I am the way I am." Most of the characters, Ruth included, feel their possibles are an essential part in finding who they are. Because they believe they are defined by the life of the person who they were copied from, seeing them would be to get a sneak peek into the life they could have had. Nevertheless, we, all of us, to varying degrees, believe that when you saw the person you were copied from, you'd get some insight into who you were deep down, and maybe, too, you'd see something of what your life held in store. Kathy, Ruth, and Tommy embody this conflict of determining who you are and what an identity truly is. A job title, a past, strengths or weaknesses, or some combination of all of these things. How we see ourselves can set us free or confine us. Kathy, Tommy, and Ruth all experience this in their own unique way. In Hailsham's closing, the memory and meaning that Hailsham had for Kathy were being set free to be overtaken and eventually lost in time, like the balloons that floated ever higher toward nothing. The strings that confined the balloons were also the only thing keeping it alive. Once they were gone, it was like a vital part of herself had also gone. Whether their possibles define them arises frequently concerning both themes. Ruth believes their possibles to be trash, so the best thing they can be is a donor. Tommy and Kathy disagree, believing that their genes don't confine their future. These conflicts reflect an internal struggle over what makes me, me. How we answer that question either grants us an infinite ability to achieve our dreams or limits us to our most minimal capabilities.